All right. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball. I'm Dan Vespris. This show is brought to you by the Believe Network and FanDuel. We're settling in for a Saturday morning episode, and this seems like one that you guys tend to like, so we're going to do a similar thing today. These are the most added players across fantasy basketball, but today with a little caveat. Please like and subscribe as you're also settling in. Those things do matter, believe it or not. Drive traffic. The more people that watch a show right out of the chute, the more people that get to see it. So whatever you guys can do, obviously much appreciated. This on your screen, YouTubers, is the list of the top 10 players on Yahoo added today. But there are a few real turd names in there. So I thought we could bend the rules a little bit on today's podcast and not necessarily just look at the top 10 most added players by volume, but instead I'm going to look at 12 names on the most added list that I think are the most interesting ones to talk about. Some of them are going to be yeses, some of them are going to be nos, but you guys don't need me to talk about freaking Andre Drummond. He's number 6 on this list. You're not picking him up other than when Joel Embiid is going to miss a ball game, which, by the way, is going to happen because Philly has a back-to-back today and tomorrow. So in one of those two games, Embiid is going to sit and Drummond is going to be half useful and Adembona is going to be half useful. But that's a terribly annoying thing for us to talk about on today's show. So instead, we're going to talk about my 12 favorites from the Yahoo top 10 board. Not my favorite ads. Again, my favorites to talk about. And that'll be what goes down on today's show. The top 10 is Saddiq Bey, Harrison Barnes, Marcus Smart, Julian Champagnie, Ben Sheppard. That's the first 5. Andre Drummond is number 6. Kon Knueppel, Aaron Nesmith, Russell Westbrook, Zaccharie Risacher, and Grayson Allen. What the hell Grayson Allen is doing on there is anybody's guess. He's been amazing since the very first moment of this year. And that, again, is why we're going to venture a little farther down the board. We're going to talk about Josh Minott today. We're going to talk about Derik Queen. We're going to talk about Ajay Mitchell. And we're going to talk about Noah Clowney. So I'm throwing 4 extra names in addition to, I think we'll talk about roughly 8-ish of the first 10 with a couple of skippies in there because I just didn't want to. And with that in mind, let's begin. Saddiq Bey is number 1. I can't skip over the number 1 guy because apparently people really want to add Saddiq Bey. But let me talk to you guys for a minute about Saddiq Bey's fantasy issues. It's not that he didn't have a couple of pretty good ball games here, because he did, particularly his last one, where Bey went 9 of 14 shooting from the field, scored a crap ton of points, 4 3-pointers, went 22 and 9 in that ball game. And the game before, he had 17 points and 4 rebounds with 3 3-pointers. And over these 2 games, he's 15 out of 23 from the field. That's very, very good. What's the common thread in these games is that the Pelicans are missing Jordan Poole and Zion Williamson. And a big sweaty butt at that. The issue with Saddiq Bey is not that I don't think he can go out there and score some points. I think he will. He's a decent 3-point shooter. He's not going to be super bashful on a team that has Trey Murphy and Jeremiah Fears as probably the top 2 shot getters right now. The issue is that if you look at the rest of what he's done this year and frankly throughout his career, he doesn't get many assists. The steals are fine, but not great. He doesn't really block shots. His free throw percent is, again, fine, but not great. The field goal percent we know is going to come down. All that to say, his actual 9-cat game is fairly limited. I can't tell you on this show whether or not Saddiq Bey is going to have a good ball game tonight. What I can tell you is that long-term, it won't be a great scenario. They're in San Antonio, so this is going to be a pretty tough game for the Pels. They all are right now, although they've won a couple in a row. San Antonio can defend. They have a guy who's 19 feet tall protecting the rim. So, you're not going to get a ton of easy looks against the Spurs. So, from a DFS standpoint, I guess is the question of is this a great night to stream Saddiq Bey? Maybe. That's not really my cup of tea. It's not how I'm more of a longer-term guy. What I can tell you is that over a medium to long-term, Saddiq Bey is not a 9-cat fantasy guy, and I think you should probably not make the ad. Marcus Smart is the next name we're going to talk about. Again, we skipped over Harrison Barnes, what everybody's doing here. I get it. He's playing tonight, and Barnes is on one of his little mini heaters that he does 2 to 3 times per season. And then in between those, he's fully unrosterable. Don't, guys, don't. Like, Barnes has hit 12 of his last 17 shots, and most of them have been three-pointers. He's on a three-point shooting barrage. We're skipping over him. We're going straight to Marcus Smart, who I think, from just a straight fantasy perspective, is a more interesting player to talk about than Harrison Barnes. For Smart, his minutes have been trending up, which I don't think should surprise anybody. He always seemed like he was going to be the best fit for what the Lakers were doing because he can basically guard 1 through 5. He is teaching the team how to take charges. He's just totally changed the way the Lakers play on a basketball court. Now, he's a guard that's going to pick up a ton of fouls because that's his jam. But luckily, over the last 5 games, he's played 31, 35, 27, 32, and 33 minutes in those ball games. By and large, it's been a pretty good sample size of what you can get out of Marcus Smart. Now, he hasn't been a world beater. He scored 11, 12, 11, 9, and 17 points. So he's averaging, 22, 34, 43, 60. He's averaging exactly 12 points over those 5 games. He has been right around 4.5 assists during those 5 games and went 5, 4, 4, 5, 5. Very consistent there. Rebounds have been extremely consistent, right around 3 per ball game. The key with Smart is he's going to make his hay in steals and threes and a smattering of assists. Now, the threes haven't really been there. He went 0 for 3, 1 for 4, 3 for 7. That was a little bit better. 1 for 5 and 1 for 7. He's not shooting the ball well from downtown right now. But as we know, with pretty much everybody in the NBA, threes are a bit streaky. Guys don't usually just go 3 for 7 every day and get you to around 40%. It's usually like they go 5 out of 8 one day and then 2 out of 8 the next. And that's what we're seeing out of Marcus Smart. He's in a little bit of a shooting funk right now. And that's kind of, I guess you could say, artificially depressing his fantasy value a little bit. But to me, it's all about the role, the opportunity. He's number 77 over the last week, thanks to those 2.3 steals per game. That's despite shooting 33% from the field. Yes, he's been particularly good at the foul line. He had a 10 for 10 game mixed in there. But again, you figure the steals maybe come down a little bit. The threes probably come up a little bit. Does he hold on to this role when Austin Reeves comes back? I would think the answer is yeah, because he was playing, the first 3 games of this 5-game stretch. That was with Reeves in there. And the number of shots per game really only changed by about 1 when Austin went out. So as long as Marcus Smart doesn't play himself into an injury, which he often does, I think he's actually playable right now. A bit of a 3-and-D type of play, but with that little bit of assists kind of wedged in there. That's where you get that bonus kick with Smart. So I like him. I think he's addable, and I think he's streamable. Maybe until LeBron comes back. Maybe. Next player I want to talk about is Julian Champagnie, who is doing, I think, more than folks expected. But I would say don't do anything with the San Antonio Spur right now. Today, De'Aaron Fox is set to make his season debut. He's probably only going to play like 22, 24 minutes, something like that, kind of like what we saw out of Darius Garland. They're not going to overdo it here because they want Fox healthy for the long haul. But as Fox settles in, all of the other guys on the Spurs are going to take a hit in how much they get. Fox is going to be a 15 to 18 shot per game kind of guy. He's the clear number 2 behind Victor Wembanyama on this club. So this rotating cavalry of Spurs wings is going to be now fighting for even smaller chunks of scraps. Dylan Harper went down, and so everybody got a little bit larger piece of the pie. But Fox coming in, not on day 1, but as Fox gets settled, was set to take a bigger piece of the pie than Harper did. So this is a net negative for all of these other wings. Yeah, there will be some games where they get to put up big numbers. This might be one of them against the Pels. But as good a fantasy game as Champagnie tends to have, and you can see he does a little bit of everything: steals, blocks, boards, threes, free throws. Like, there's a lot to like about it. But also with Fox coming back, I can't advocate doing something with any Spurs wing right now until we see how all the pieces fit together. Best to let that one go. Next name from the board that I want to talk about is Ben Sheppard. He's the number 5 guy. Champagnie was number 4 on the list. Again, we skipped over number 2. Sheppard, he sort of had his chance to be the starting point guard. He lost it. Quentin Jackson took it and then got hurt. Sheppard, in my opinion, is getting added because he had an 18-4-3 game his last time out. But we've seen already that he can't do it for multiple games in a row. So I don't know what everybody is buying in on with Sheppard right now. I think he showed like a week and a half ago when he had his first opportunity to be the starting point guard for the Pacers that he's not a particularly good point guard yet. Also, it sounds like TJ McConnell is not that far away. We still have no idea what's going on with Andrew Nembhard and or Benedict Mathurin. I hope we get any kind of report on those guys eventually. But for now, I'm not doing the Ben Sheppard plunge. I don't see the value in it. I think we can do better if we're just looking at injury replacement level guys. And so with him, we move on. Speaking of injury replacement level guys, Kon Knueppel has been going crazy because everybody else is dead on the Charlotte Hornets. The whole team is cooked right now. LaMelo Ball's missed 3 games in a row. Colin Sexton hurt his neck. He missed the last one. Brandon Miller's been out for over a week already. So who's left? Miles Bridges and Kon Knueppel. So these guys are taking 20 shots a damn night, and I don't care what your fantasy game looks like. If you're getting that level of usage, you belong on fantasy rosters. I don't think Knueppel keeps it up when 3 usage guys all come back. We saw when the team was healthy, Kon was mostly just a 3-point guy, really not doing the rebound, assisting, other stuff that we've seen with everybody on the team hurt. But again, this is the modern NBA. Everybody, I see so much complaining. Oh, I have so many guys hurt. It sucks. I get it. But the modern NBA fantasy game is about jumping on guys like Knueppel when their opportunity opens up. Because look, we'll scroll down the game log a little bit on Kon, and you can see when the team was healthy, it was like 11 points, 14 points. He had a 20-point and a 19-point game mixed in there, but it was mostly because he was having a good 3-point shooting game. He was shooting the ball well. And then he went 2 for 6 and 1 for 9. And everybody was like, oh, I got to drop him. And then everybody got hurt. LaMelo went down, and Brandon Miller was already out. So with Miller out alone, it still wasn't enough. When LaMelo went down, all of a sudden, 5 assists, 12 rebounds. The rebounds went up. When Sexton went down, now suddenly he's up to 30 points. He took 13 threes in their last ball game. His action, and he played 40 minutes, is directly proportional to these guys being out. But who cares? Get what you can while you can. It's why I advocate not to go so heavy on volume streaming at this part of the year, because you might find a guy like a Knueppel where you don't have to worry about the volume streaming side. You just whatever, he's got a really terrible schedule. Who cares? He's playing like a top 25 guy because he's the only person left on his team. He's going 1-on-5 right now. That's not true. He doesn't play over the weekend. I get it. Head-to-head, it's hard to hold, but they got 4 games next week, and if LaMelo's not back and Miller's not back, he's going to still be good. This one surprised me. Aaron Nesmith was on the ads board, which I guess suggests that he was dropped in a lot of spots. And that to me was really short-term thinking by the fantasy populace. And I get it. Nesmith so far this year, his ranking looks terrible. But it's so heavily based on one terrible category. Over the season, he's shooting a high volume 34% from the field. I mean, he's been an absolute wreck at shooting the basketball. He's on medium volume 68% at the free throw line for the season as well. But if you look at sort of smaller sample sizes in there, just look at the last week. Nesmith is taking 17 shots a game, and he's ranked number 109, and you're trying to figure out why. And it's this one statistical category. He's shooting 40% on 17 shots a game. He's not a big assist guy. His steals and blocks are weirdly low so far this year as well. Those will also level off, but he's at 21 points, 7 boards, and over 3 threes a game. And the free throw numbers started to settle back in. This guy should have never been dropped, not with the amount of stuff that he's willing to get or that he's available to get right now. Don't drop Nesmith. Definitely keep him on your roster. That volume alone should keep him on your roster. I get it. The Pacers are terrible. I know exactly what you guys are thinking as I'm going through this stuff. He needs somebody to get him open. And it might actually help Nesmith to get someone like an Andrew Nembhard back or a TJ McConnell back, someone that can move the ball a little bit, because they just don't have a point guard right now. They're 3 point guards down. Great. Get him a little bit open. He ain't going to be this bad forever. And he's been, shooting-wise, he's been atrocious. What's the 3-point percent so far this year? Actually, that's been weirdly not his worst spot. 34% from downtown, 34% overall. Can't make a 2-pointer to save his life. This is a guy that should be up around a steal and, 0.6, 0.7 blocks per game in full starters minutes. There's so many things that are going to come up for Nesmith. Don't drop. Next name on our list is Russell Westbrook, and everybody thinks that I'm clowning on him, and maybe I am a little bit. But here's the thing with Russ. Look at what he's doing over the last 3 games. 59%, 69%, 53%. Suddenly people are like, oh, he's just refigured out how to shoot the basketball. No, he has not. No, he has not, people. It's a 3-game sample size. Russell Westbrook, this is a game log. We'll pull up the game log. He's shooting 46% from downtown with the Kings so far this year. You guys really mean to tell me that you believe he's going to shoot 46% from three-point land this year? This is a career 31%er, and it's not like it's been trending up over the course of his career. He's literally been at 31% or within like 2 percentage points of it every single year for like 20 straight seasons, or however long he's been in the NBA now. 46% is not happening. That's why the value is floated right now. He's at 46% from downtown instead of 31 on basically about 40% of his field goal attempts per game. When that 3-point percent comes back down, he's going to be a low 40s field goal guy again. He's at 71% at the foul line right now. But again, if you're looking at sort of this heater stretch for Russ over the last week, he's at 91% in 4 games. He's not going to stick at 91%. He hasn't shot better than 76% at the free throw line since 2019, and he hasn't cracked 80 since 2016, and it was somewhere in there where he just lost the ability to shoot free throws. So he's at 71% there, and you're like, all right, boy, I hope this thing sticks. The things that Russ can do is rebound and assist. He's always been able to do those, even at his older age. Those are still stats that he tends to get. He does tend to get some steals as well because he's crashing. He's going completely insane. He's not playing within the confines of an offense. And the Kings have just said, whatever, and they're going for pure entertainment value right now and really not worried about much else. The 16 points per game, not going to hold when Sabonis is healthy and stays healthy, and Levine is healthy and stays healthy, and Keegan Murray comes back, is going to sort of squeeze minutes because it's going to squeeze everybody down a peg. DeMar's going to slide down to the 3. Levine's going to slide down to the 2. And all of a sudden, Schroeder and Westbrook are more so going to have to share the point guard spot. Malik Monk, Keon Ellis also in there. But without Keegan and without Sabonis, they've kind of been able to play up a little bit. The medium guys, and then the small guys have been able to play together. So I don't expect Russ to play 29 minutes a game the entire year. But even if he does, I don't expect him to put up percentages like what you're seeing so far this season. So yeah, there is a big drop-off coming for Russell Westbrook. You're probably not going to be able to sell high, but I guarantee you there are some massive Westbrook fans out there in the universe. One of them might overpay for him right now. If you're in a points league and you're watching these shows, thank you, because it's not really geared to you. You should just hold on because you don't care about the fact that his percentages are going to get worse and his turnovers are going to stay super high. All you care about is the fact that he's going to get some points, boards, assists, and steals, and you want it to be as much as possible, and you don't care how he gets there. But 9-cat players, you guys care how he gets there, and it turns sour. You know it does. It always does. 8-cat players, you have a little bit more wiggle room. 8-cat players who are punting one of the 2 percentages, you have even more wiggle room than that. So there's this sort of nesting doll thing going on where Points leagues, hard yes, he should be on your roster. 8-cat punt percentage, yes, he should be on your roster. 8-cat solo, I think he's probably fringy. And 9-cat, I think you should be selling high like a lunatic right now. Go nuts. Sell as high as you possibly can. Do the Kings play tonight? No. No, they do not. Well, that doesn't help us for our FanDuel read. Bum, bum, bum. Let's see. Do we have, what awards can you bet on over at FanDuel? The FanDuel Sportsbook, by the way, is a proud partner of us here at Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball. Check them out just download the app. That's the easiest way. Or sportsbook.fanduel.com. That's another way. Some of the awards, let's see. They got MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. Wemby is all chalk there. Rookie of the Year. It's still Cooper Flagg, but Edgecombe is sliding in behind him right now. Most Improved Player, we got Giddey, Ryan Rollins, Denny Avdia, Benedict Mathurin, Austin Reeves, Amen Thompson. I don't think Rollins is a good call there because Kevin Porter Jr. is going to mess that up. If Austin Reeves comes back and keeps doing what he's doing, he might get the fanfare because Lakers. That's not a bad one. 6th man of the year, Ajay Mitchell, Jeremy Grant. That's a tough one. Grant right now is the guy there. Coach of the year. Honestly, like JJ Redick at plus 1,000 is not a bad bet. These are fun. I should have looked at these earlier. Also, I mentioned this before. This is the self-promo stuff. Please check the show description. We got the free Google Sheet link in there so you can see all the injury replacement guys that we've been talking about on the show. The streaming calendar is in there. You can go back and look at all of my rankings, everything that went on during the preseason, the run-up, the draft season. And if we've won a lot of money together over the years, please consider a $1 membership either at Patreon or right here through YouTube. If you're watching, I don't know where the button is to sign up, and like 2 or 3 of you have done it, so I don't think many of you know where the button is either. It's 99 cents a month. All you get right now is the satisfaction of knowing that you're helping me do all this stuff for free forever. But we are going to have a subscriber pod coming at some point later this month, and I'm hoping, I got to check his calendar, that it'll be with my older son. I think that'll be a fun first subscriber pod to do. Not about fantasy basketball, just about life. So check that out. Those links are in the show description. Patreon.com/oldmansquad if it's easier for you to do it over there. Or again, right through YouTube, there's a button. Where it is, I don't know. Zaccharie Risacher is the next one on the table. I tried to get his game log to load, but it didn't come up. So let's try again. Nope. Yahoo just decided that's the one that's not going to work. All right. Well, whatever. Risacher is not a guy that I'm interested in picking up, and some people were questioning why. And it's really just because, when he goes on a heater, that's one thing, but he doesn't have good fantasy game yet. That's the big issue here. I don't know what level of usage he'd have to get to change my opinion on that. But he doesn't rebound. He doesn't hit that many threes. He doesn't pass very much. So you need basically what's happened over the last week to happen long-term consistently, which is not awful field goal percent. He's been acceptable. He's made every free throw he's taken this week, and he's at 1.7 steals per game. I don't buy it, basically, is where we're at with Risacher. 6 out of 16, 7 out of 14 last 2 ball games. You've seen the usage come up a little bit, but even then, just very little in the peripheral stuff. And the shooting is going to level off. I think points leagues, you could probably give him a look. That's a possibility. The Trae Young absence is part of it. I'd rather have Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So Risacher is a no for me right now. I've lost track of what number these guys are on the actual transactions board. I think Risacher is number 10. Russ was 9. Nesmith was 8. Knueppel was 7. We skipped over Andre Drummond. Next name on the list is the 12th most added player, and that's Josh Minott, who, I get it. This is another one where I have to say I get it. I've said it like 3 times on today's show. People gave up on him. He had 2 good ball games. Then he had 3 bad games. And so people were like, that's not a percentage that I can handle. 40% good, 60% bad. That's not enough. But he's come back now with 2 better games, One of them, he played 34 minutes. The next one, he had a little bit of foul stuff going on, but managed to kind of salvage the line anyway. And that's what you're looking for with Minott. You're looking for a power forward that's rebounding pretty well, which he's done since he got this job. 9, 15, 8, 6, 6, 5, 8 are the rebounding numbers. You're looking for steals, which he's done pretty well since getting that starting job. 1, 3, 0, 2, 0, 3, 1. What is that? 4, 6, 9, 10 over 6, 7 games. Not bad. So like 1.5-ish steals per game. Blocks are not going to be a big thing, but if you can get a half a block, you probably take it. Free throws have been good. Field goal has been pretty good over that stretch. He's had those bad games were not quite as impressive. And he's actually given you a little bit in three-pointers, not a ton there either. But it's all about that opportunity. When he's out there and he can stay out of foul trouble and play 30 minutes, you're talking about a guy that can give you 7 or 8 rebounds and over a steal and teens in scoring. And those type of guys just don't grow on trees. It's not 3 and D because he's not hitting a ton of three-pointers. It's more like rebounds and D with a little bit of other stuff mixed in. So I think Minott should stay on rosters. You know, it's not an infinite leash kind of thing. If the rebounds cool off, that to me would be a reason to probably move on from him because that's what's floating his value at the moment. I think the other stuff, the steals will come and go, so I wouldn't put too much stock in that. It's really going to come down to, does he have the energy level to rebound that hard longer term? And my hope is yes, so we'll hang on to him for now. And now we're jumping ahead a little bit. We skipped over Trey Jones, who should have been rostered from the first day of the year. We're skipping CJ McCollum, who I actually don't think needs to be rostered, but he was better because both Bilal Coulibaly and Keyshawn George were out. And we're going to jump straight to Derik Queen, who's the 15th most added player across fantasy basketball right now. And I don't think you need to add him in this moment, but I'm very curious what happens for the Pels tonight because Yves Missi is back out again. Whatever illness he's got has knocked him out for 4 days. That's a nasty little bug, but he's out again. And could we potentially get a Derik Queen start? Maybe not. Go up against Wemby. Here, good luck with this one. They'll probably start someone goofball like Kevon Looney or DeAndre Jordan and just try to absorb a few minutes of the Wemby. And then Queen will come in. Probably has a pretty good ball game. The 2 times we've seen Queen play 25 minutes or more, he's looked pretty good. 15 and 6 with 3 defensive stats in one of them, 11 and 7 with 3 defensive stats in the other. The assists that he had, not this most recent game, but one back where he had 7. That feels a little bit more like a flash in the pan. That came in 18 minutes. I think it's really more of a preview of what the rest of the season, the later part of the season, may hold for Queen. He does seem like a pretty cool, well-rounded 9-cat fantasy guy. I don't think the minutes are going to be consistent enough here in the short term, especially if Missy ever gets over this flu bug or whatever he's fighting. But if the Pelicans are forced to kind of turn the page on this year, that's when it would be time to take the big leap on Derik Queen. Ajay Mitchell is another player I wanted to talk about because he's coming off a huge ball game. He's number 17 on the board. But I think we're starting to understand when it makes sense. Now, with Mitchell, it feels like a lot of his stuff is tied to Lou Dort. Not all of it, because for the entire season, he's actually been fantasy playable. I think his overall rank on the year now is like top 70 range. But a lot of that is tied up in steals and free throw percent. He's at 1.7 steals per game and a kind of medium, high-ish volume, 95% at the foul line. His other stuff is 17 points, which I like. 1.2 threes, not great. 3.8 rebounds, meh. 4.2 assists, that's not bad, but obviously not a big needle mover or anything like that. It's the steals have been really good. The points have been decent enough, and the free throws have been outstanding. But if you zoom in a little tighter on Mitchell, and for us, we're actually going to zoom out a little bit, YouTubers, so you can see it more. It really does come down to certain guys being out, opening up a little more of the game action, a little more of the, it's really minutes. Because when he's out there, he's taking shots. He's not bashful, and the Thunder are winning, so whatever's happening right now, they're kind of letting it ride. This last ball game, no Lou Dort. I think there might have been one other guy out. Obviously, Jalen Williams is still out, so that's the biggest one. But you take 2 non-big man starters out. And Aaron Wiggins was out. That was the other one that missed time. So he and Wiggins have kind of been butting heads a little bit for this stuff. And remember, earlier in this year, Caruso went down. And then Chet Holmgren went down, and that helped Wiggins. And so there's this weird, it's not a revolving door. It's really like a slide puzzle, where you have the one open spot and you have to slide the puzzle pieces around to make it look like the right thing. That's what's happening in OKC. It's a slide puzzle. So, okay, you had the beginning of the year, no Jalen Williams. I don't think that anybody was going to be consistently playable with just Jalen Williams out. Then Caruso went down, and Ajay Mitchell became much more valuable. Then Caruso came back, and Ajay wasn't as good, but Chet went down, and so Aaron Wiggins became better. Then Lou Dort went down, and Ajay Mitchell got better. And then Wiggins went down, and Ajay got even better than that. And then you saw the big assist game his last time out. I don't know who's going to be out in the Thunder's next basketball game. They do not play tonight. They play Sunday, ? Yeah, they're in Memphis tomorrow. If all those guys are out again, Ajay would be a great stream. Over the last week, he's number 75, 2.3 steals, 91% free throw shooting, but 6.3 assists. That's been that extra gear. If Wiggins is back, Ajay might slide back towards the edge of the top 100. If Lou Dort and Wiggins are back, I don't think I would play him. If Chet sits a ball game coming up, Wiggins is the guy you play. It's crazy, but I think we've now kind of semi-solved the OKC injury replacement board puzzle. So you can't do anything with Ajay today. I would wait until tomorrow to get a feel for the injury board, and then you make your move. And the last name I wanted to talk about is Noah Clowney. I don't even remember. Where the hell was he on the list here? Oh, he's right behind Mitchell. So that's number 18, and that's going to be our last name. We did a dozen. This show was longer than I planned. I try to keep these Saturday ones to 25 minutes. Not so much. Clowney has slid into the starting five. Initially, it was because Michael Porter Jr. missed a ball game, and then he just stuck. So that's the good news on Noah. The bad news is he's kind of Jeremy Grant without the free throw shooting, which that's not fair from a reality standpoint right now. But remember, there was a time that Jeremy Grant was a pretty well-rounded player. I'm talking about current Jeremy Grant, which is basically he is a power forward with a shooting guard's fantasy game. How big is Noah Clowney? 6'10", 210? It's bigger than I realized. He's 6'10", 210, and his numbers this year would suggest that he's like 6'4". On the season, what's Noah Clowney's numbers on the season? And we'll look at the last week. On the season, he's number 288. 24 minutes a game, he's averaging 9 points, 4 rebounds, 1.5 assists, basically no defensive stats, 35% from the field, 81 at the free throw line, and 1.6 threes per game. Over the last week, since his role got bigger and he's playing 27 minutes a game, he's number 206. 13 points, 4 boards, 1.5 assists, 0.8 steals, 42% from the field, 75 at the free throw line, and 2.5 three-pointers per game. I wish, believe me, I wish that what we saw at the very end of the 23-24 season was what Clowney actually is. And remember, the last 7 to 10 games of that year, not this past season, but the one before it, he was averaging 2.5 defensive stats while shooting 60% from the field, only 1 three-pointer a game during that span, and he looked like a power forward with defensive stat upside. And now all of a sudden, Noah Clowney last year, Noah Clowney this year, he looks nothing like that guy. Last season, he played 23 minutes a game, made 2 three-pointers a night, and averaged a combined 1 steal and block on 36% shooting and 84% free throws. If I didn't tell you he was 6'10", you'd look at that and you'd go, this guy's 6'5". This guy's a small forward at largest. And it looks the same this year. So, yeah, I like the fact that he's hit 10 threes over his last 3 ball games, but I don't like the rest of his fantasy game anymore. He's a shooting guard trapped in a power forward's body on a team that stinks, and his minutes are probably going to get yanked around a little bit. Points leagues, you can give him a look. 9-cat, I don't think he has the game to warrant a spot on your roster, at least not as the team is currently constructed, and I don't know that I see much of that changing anyway. So Clowney, sorry, bud. You're a no for me in my book, and that is our most interesting 12. The recap on those names, the guys that I think you should add in those. Marcus Smart, I think, is probably playable, at least in the short term. What was the list we did? Bey's a no. Smart was a yes. Champagnie was a no. We got to wait and see what De'Aaron Fox is up to. Ben Sheppard is a no. Kon Knueppel is a yes for now because of all the guys that are hurt. Aaron Nesmith is a yes. Westbrook is a yes for now in all formats, and a yes for points leagues longer term. Category leagues, probably more of a sell. Risacher, no. Minott, yes. Derik Queen, not yet. Ajay Mitchell, watch the injury report. And Noah Clowney, no. I'm Dan Besbris. Please like, rate, and subscribe. And again, if you have $1 to spare, consider it. If you don't worry about it. Patreon in the show description. YouTube memberships right there, probably somewhere on your screen. And we'll get a fun podcast going with me and my son. That'll be the one that you guys get. You actually get a legitimate thing for your 99 cents at that point. But again, it's really all about just supporting a cause more than anything else, because I think all of you guys want your fantasy content in podcasts, in social media, in digestible, free items that you guys can use quickly, effectively, that won't break the bank. At Dan Besbris on social. Again, everything we do here, we do there first and faster. DANBESBRIS. Old Man Squad is our network feed. And what is that? Some people that are watching have asked why I have a subheader that says I'm a cart dad now. You'll have to watch our next show. I'll leave it up there, and I'll tell you about it on the next one. Have a great Saturday, everybody. Stay tuned for Kingy's daily recaps over the weekend and his waiver wire show. And then I'll be back with you guys probably for a weekly preview show that'll air Sunday night or Monday morning. Cue the music. Let's go do stuff. I don't have weekends anymore.